Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Valeria for those of you who are new. In today's video we're going to have a look at what impact you have on the world and or the people around you. And this is a topic that was picked by everyone who voted on the poll that I put out already quite some time ago. So thank you all for voting and for picking this topic, because just like the last topic that you guys picked, or most of you guys picked, I think this is a really great topic to be talking about. So just like in not my previous video, but like the video before that, I will do the pile preparations on camera, so that will play right after this introduction. So if you're interested in seeing me shuffle your pile, you can tune in and watch that. If you're not interested in that, you can of course just skip to your pile if you want to. So for today's reading we have 3 piles. For pile 1, I will show you the card up close. I really love using this deck for cards, you know, to represent each pile because of the bright imagery. So you have the Page of Wands and the Rose Quartz. For pile 2, you have the Hanged Man with the green Adventurine. And for pile 3, you have the Queen of Wands with the Citrine. So you can pause the video if you need to meditate on the cards or on the crystals. Do whatever it is that you usually do and take your time. Once you have selected your pile, you can skip to your reading using the timestamps I will provide for you down below. And once you have done so, I will see you in your reading. Alright, let's get started with shuffling the piles. So for pile 1, what impact does pile 1 have on the world or the people around them? What impact does pile 2 have on the world and the people around them? For pile 3, what impact does pile 3 have on the world and the people around them? Pile 1, what impact does pile 1 have on the world and the people around them? For pile 2, that was fast. For pile 2, what impact does pile 2 have on the world and the people around them? And for pile 3, what impact does pile 3 have on the world and the people around them? Alright. Pile 1. What impact does pile 1 have on the world and the people around them? Pile 2. does pile 2 have? And for pile 3, perfect. Let's move on to the Oracle cards now. For pile 1, what impact does pile 1 have on the world and the people around them? For pile 2, what impact does pile 2 have on the world and the people around them? Pile 2 and for pile 3. All right. What impact does pile 1 have on the world and the people around them? For pile 2. For pile 3. Great. For pile 1, let's see what impact does pile 1 have on the world and the people around them? Oh, sorry, I bumped into the camera. For pile 2, same question. What impact does pile 2 have on the world or the people around them? For 2 and for number 3, we have have in the world around them. Yes, oh, those are 2. I'm gonna take the first one. There've been a lot of cards coming out for each deck, so that's, to me, is like a very good sign. So let's shuffle our last deck for pile 1. What impact does pile 1 have on the world and the people around them? What impact does pile 1 have on the world or on the people around them? One card for them. Let's go with 1. This one is for 2. This one is for 3. All right, so those are all the piles. If you want to, you can still have a look at the piles, and otherwise you can skip to your reading with the timestamps that are down below. And then once you have selected your reading, I will see you in your reading. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. Let's get started and have a look what impact you have on the world and on the people around you. So you first of all pick the Page of Wands. So we're gonna have a look at your other tarot cards as well. So you have this Page of Wands, and from the same deck you also have the Knight of Wands. Let's see, because I have quite some cards. Then next you have the Six of Cups. And the Magician. You also have the Six of Swords. And the Lovers, which is another 6. So you have 3 times a 6. So with the cards over here, I'm getting that, first of all, the impact that you have on the world is quite big, and it's bigger than you think it is. And it's mostly related to your words is what I'm getting. Your words have a bigger impact on people especially, than you think. Because we have 3 sixes here, and sixes to me talk about balance and talk about love. And I'm getting that with your words, whatever you say, whether it's, you know, something positive or negative, something that comes from a place of love, or something that comes from a place of frustration, for example, really has a big impact on the world. And let's see, because another specific thing that I'm seeing here is that with your words, you influence your world in a way, as in, you know, how you manifest your reality to be like. So if you keep saying things like, if you're talking to your friends and you're like, oh, I have this relationship with this person and they are so great and this relationship is so amazing, then you're gonna see that in your reality. But if you would, for example, do the opposite and you would be saying things like, oh, I cannot find a good significant other, everyone is just playing, or everyone's just out for fun and not really for any commitment, that's also what you're gonna find. So I see that the impact your words have is mainly on your own world. So what you are saying, what you're putting out there, is really what comes back to you. So you might be aware of this already or not, but your words, you really manifest with your words. You create your reality with your words. You know, there are some people who are better with visualizations, some people, you know, with affirmations, scripting, you know, writing. There are all different types of methods that work for different types of people for different reasons. And I see that for you, it's mainly using your words, and of course also your thoughts. But since we're talking about, you know, the real impact it has on your world and the people around you, I'm mainly seeing what you are talking about. So that is when it comes to your world, right? Whatever you say influences the way that you experience your reality. But at the same time, I see that it also influences the way you talk. So the words you use also influences other people. Because here with the Six of Cups, there is this girl who looks like, with those very big puppy eyes, as you know, she's really cute, and it's like as if the way that you talk can really affect a person like that. So if you, for example, would say something with love, that person would really feel that and would really appreciate it. But if you would get angry at someone, for example, they would also have a reaction like, oh, I'm so sorry, pile one, and it really affects other people. And I am not sure why this is coming up for you in specific, because I think that for everyone it's this way, right? That what we say can really impact other people. But for you guys in specific, it seems that your words have just some extra kind of power that helps you manifest, or it makes you manifest actually. And it has a big influence on people, the way that you talk to them. Like, it might sound cliche, or it might sound very simple, or very like duh, of course, but this is really what's being highlighted here, that the way you talk to people really influences the way that people see you and the relationships you have with these people. So if you would, like, let's say you have a colleague and that colleague is new there, so they don't know anything about you, right? They don't have any opinion about you yet, and you would give off like a first impression of being someone who's very approachable, someone who's helpful, kind, understanding. Then that would have a really big impact on that person, and they will see you like that forever, for as long as you work together. But if you would come off as standoffish, distant, cold, not wanting to help, then that person will also have that impression of you for the rest of the time that you're working together. So whatever you say really has this huge impact on how people see you, how people view you, how people's, how they talk to you, how they interact with you. So your words are your superpower. You can create with your words your world, and you can also really influence people in that way. If you want people to like you, pile one, just be kind to them, is what I'm seeing here. Because again, through your words, you're getting people to like you. If you're kind to them, if you talk to them from, a place of good intentions, then people are going to like you, they're going to love you. But if you talk to someone with not the right intentions, for whatever purpose, or maybe you have a bad day or something, that will also really influence the way that people treat you in that way, and they will like you a little bit less maybe because of that. And I just want to add that in case you do sometimes make a comment to someone else that's kind of mean or rude, don't be worried that they're suddenly going to see you as some evil person or a bad person or something like that, because relationships are dynamic. And the same way is the other way around. If at this moment you have a relationship with a person that is not very good, but you want to fix it, you can fix it by using kind words, right? So relationships are dynamic, they're not solid, they're not set in stone. So don't worry that if you say something bad or say something with the wrong intentions, then you're suddenly screwing up the relationship with that person. Or even if you say something bad about yourself or about your world, that suddenly your reality is going to get screwed up, or you're going to manifest something that you don't want. It's not that extreme, it's not that much. But just be aware that whatever you say, whether it's to someone else about you or about your reality, that is really how you impact the world. So this is not the way that I intended this reading to be, but for you, the question here is taken quite literally. The way that you impact the world and people, like literally impact them, is, through your words. So it's funny that you got this kind of answer in your reading. So let's have a look at your oracle cards. You first of all have Earth Pulsing, Pulse of the Mother, slow down time in nature. And that kind of confirms what I was saying before already, because words, sound, are a vibration, and everything is energy, and energy has a vibration. So if you put a word out there, right? If you put your sentence out there, whatever you say, it is going to get absorbed by the world around you. This is like an image that I'm getting. You say something, for example, I love my life, or I love myself, I am beautiful, then your world is going to absorb the vibration of those words, and it's going to mirror it back to you. And it's the same thing when you say, for example, oh, I am ugly, I hate my life, I hate people. Again, those words are going to be absorbed by your reality, and it's going to be reflected back to you. So here we see Mother Earth, we see nature. So nature is also a component, how would you say this? Like nature is something that also absorbs vibration and absorbs energy. So that's why I was saying this, like your reality, let's just put it general like that, your world, your reality is very sensitive and very easily influenced by the vibration of your words, right? So if you say something with love, your environment, your world is going to pick that up and it's going to mirror it back to you. So then you can create this beautiful paradise like we see on the picture. So awareness of your thoughts and of your words is very important for you, is what I'm seeing. You also have Lady Portia with Divine Order. Do what you feel is right, and an important lesson is unfolding. So that's, first of all, a really nice message, right? Do what you feel is right. That's amazing. And with this card, because it says that an important lesson is unfolding, maybe you're in this period, in this moment right now, when you feel like really asserting yourself, really questioning yourself and the way that you're living right now. Like, why am I thinking this way? Why am I spending time with these people? Why am I saying these things? Let's say you're complaining about your job. You don't like your job, you don't like the people you're working with, and all you do is complain about it, but you do nothing about it, right? You don't change it. And then suddenly you ask yourself, why am I complaining about my job but not doing anything about it, right? So then in a way there is this this lesson is unfolding here to show you indeed, like, what is it about my world that I am not really totally liking, and why am I not changing it? So that kind of ties into this reading, because it's saying, if you're going through something that you don't like right now, or you're spending time with people that you actually don't really want to spend time with, the key is in your words. The key to the situation, the answer is in your words, the way that you talk to others and to yourself, and the way that you think. And again, I feel just like this lesson is unfolding for you right now, and then this reading is kind of here to give you more of an explanation of maybe what is going on, or what's the best thing for you to do right now. And it literally says, do what you feel is right. So if you are, you know, like I said, with the job, if you don't like the job and you feel like quitting, then do what you think is right. Quit that job if that's what you think is the right thing for you. And instead of being complaining about you not liking your job, do something about it. Change something about it. I mean, as much as you can in the situation that you are in, of course. So whatever is going on for you now, and it doesn't have to be related to something as big as quitting your job, but it could also be as simple as your beliefs, a belief system about something, maybe a belief system about how relationships are supposed to go, or about how you should behave yourself, or, you know, in certain times of our life we need to have certain achievements, right? A career achievement, or we need to start a family, or we need to have our own home, or whatever, or we need to have that amount of money. Maybe you're going through something like that, and you're realizing, why am I actually living this way or thinking this way if it's not making me happy? So if you break the thought, you will break the habit, and you will, again, that will then reflect back in your own reality. So I hope that I'm explaining myself well enough for you guys on what it is I am seeing here. For your next oracle card, you have Sisterhood. Friendship, allies, compatible souls, loyalty, delight, with number 41. This is absolutely amazing. Remember that I said that your words really impact how other people see you. And I see with Sisterhood here that there is a group of people. It could be your current friends, could also be friends who are still coming in your life, who really rely on you, like with, let's see how I can explain this the best way. So there is indeed this group of people who, like, it's a sisterhood, right? They love you, you love each other, you support each other, you have each other's back. Like the card says, loyalty, joy, delight. You're having a great time together. You're really like maybe soul family, or really like a soul match in some type of way. And you are impacting this group of people, again, with the way you talk. So like I said, these could be your current friends, it could be people that you're still going to meet, or people that you've just met and you're not really friends with. But this is really the energy here that you can create, you know, a sisterhood, a brotherhood, a friendship group, however you prefer to call it. You can really create a group of friends for yourself like that, like I'm describing, just using your words. And especially if you right now are not really vibing with any people, or you don't really like your friends, the key here for you is, again, in the way you talk and the way you think, the things that you believe. That's really so important here for you. And like, pardon me, but I just noticed that we have the Magician here, which is basically exactly the perfect representation of what I've just been saying, you know, as above, so below, as within, so without. Like, literally, that's the Magician turns their words into reality. And I know I saw the Magician, but it didn't really register for me, so it's so funny. But yeah, okay. Anyway, like, yes, you really are the magician here. You manifest with your thoughts and with your words. And yes, let's have a look at the next card, because I'm just going to repeat myself like this. You have divinity. Beautiful. Yes. All right, with this card, I'm getting it's kind of a message from a kind of a past life, that in a past life you had some type of skill and you learned something, which is the reason why you are so good at manifesting with your words right now. Nothing really specific is coming to mind, but I do get that you learned a skill in the past life that helps you with manifesting now. And in both of these cards, you see that there's this beautiful flower at the heart center. So again, like I said, if you just talk with the right intentions, if you talk with if what you say comes from a place of love and kindness and compassion, you are going to see that reflected back in your reality, in your relationships, in your friendships, in every single part of your world and the people around you. So this is basically how you impact the world and the people around you, which is again not the intention that I had for this reading, but it's really funny that it came out like this. This is the way you impact and influence people and the world. So that's really amazing for you guys. I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for watching and letting me do this reading for you. I hope this reading resonated and you liked it. In case it did, feel free to leave a like, to comment, and to subscribe. And maybe we will see each other in the next reading. Bye, guys! Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Let's get started and have a look what impact you have on the world and the people around you. Now, for some reason, I keep seeing the number 3 for you guys. So maybe you've been seeing repeating 3s. 3 is about expansion, about growth, about learning. So maybe those have been themes in your life. But let's have a look at your tarot cards. Maybe something related to 3 will still come up. So you first pick the Hanged Man. From the same deck, you also have the 8 of Cups. Okay. You also have the King of Wands, Judgment, you have the Muse of Materials, which is kind of like the King of Pentacles. And you have the 9 of Swords. Sorry, I just had to think for a moment which one it was. All right. Let me just have a moment to see what's going on here. So what I'm seeing here, pile 2, is, I find it very interesting, honestly. I see that you have in some way some kind of a leadership role, or you maybe used to have a leadership role. This could be in your job, but it could also be in your family, a community, maybe amongst your friends. Maybe you had something like a project or a business that you ran yourself. And there is something very interesting here, and I'm just going to talk about it and see if there is more about this coming up. Because, like, we cannot ignore the 8 of Cups, right? It's about walking away from something. And within, you know, you also have the Hanged Man from the same deck. So, to me, it seems like that you walked away from something and that it was really time for you to walk away from that. We have judgment cards, so there really was some kind of divine timing, divine intervention happening in your life. You walked away from it. That was the best thing for you. You know, it was the right time for you to walk away from it. So, you know, if you just needed to hear that message, you know, claim it. You made the right choice. It was the right time for you. And in you walking away from something, I see that you're actually walking towards something much, much bigger. And this is something that you did not expect, and or the people around you did not expect. So let's you know, talk about an example that I use the example in pile one as well, that you have a job but you're not happy with your job, you're not satisfied, so you decide to quit your job and do something else. Or maybe you decide to travel the world, because I'm seeing that there is quite a big contradiction to what you used to do before and what you're doing now. So maybe in that example, you had a job which was very well paid, and then you quit your job and you decided to do something that was not well paid at all. Or maybe you started a business of your own, or you started to travel, and of course you don't make any money from traveling, at least as far as I know. But even though you then quit your job, you end up in a place with maybe a different job or whatever it is, or just a different situation that brings you a lot of abundance, a lot of happiness, a lot of opportunities, right? So it's like people who saw you quit your job did not think that you would do well after quitting your job, and maybe you yourself even had some doubts whether you were going to do well or not, whether you were going to be okay or not. And in the end, everything worked out perfectly. So like I said, I used the example of a job, but it does not have to be a job, right? It's just I'm seeing two separate situations. You left a situation, everybody thought that you were going to do bad, that you were going to, you know, you took a step back, like you took a step backwards, you know, when it comes to finances, or maybe the place you live, or your lifestyle, for example, right? You're not moving forward, but you were moving backwards. That's how people were seeing this. And like I said, maybe you had your own doubts and your worries about this as well, because you were like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. And for some of you, you might have been like, I'll just leave it up to universe or divine intervention, or to God, to spirit, and I'm just gonna see what happens. And honestly, guys, I am not seeing what it is that you're doing now, or how your situation improved. But the energy of the Eight of Cups, there is like this message here of congratulations. You walked away from something that was weighing you down, and now you are only moving forward to something that's much better to you. And maybe you are already in this position right now, in this situation right now. Like I said, I'm not seeing anything specific yet. But again, for those of you guys who were doubting whether it was the right decision to make or not, it definitely was. And I'm seeing again some type of leadership role in your life, or coming up in your life. So that is kind of where I get to, like, this was kind of a very long introduction, but this is where I get to the topic of this video. How do you impact the world and the people around you? And here I'm in specific seeing people for you guys, because with you, I'm hearing the word abandoning. With you abandoning your past life, your past self, your past situation, you are bringing yourself into a much higher vibration, right? You're aligned with your purpose. You're aligned with your higher self much more, which puts you in a higher vibration. And I see people looking up to you and being inspired by you. And I am not necessarily getting that this is about your story, but it's about who you are. It's about your confidence. It's about maybe something that you create. Maybe for some of you guys, like if you create some type, or you're some type of coach, you're writing maybe self-help books, maybe you're writing music, maybe you have some type of service that helps people, maybe you are, I don't know, let's say someone on social media and you're showing your success, you're showing off your success, and this is really inspiring other people to become just like you. And again, it's not about what you did in the past, it's about who you are right now. It's about your talent, about your confidence, about your success, about your belief in yourself. And this reaction that you're getting from people is basically because you see yourself in that type of way. Like we have the muse of materials here. It's kind of like the King of Wands, but it represents more than the King of Wands. It represents the end of a journey. So it's like you knowing who you are and you admiring yourself for who you are then reflects back into your world, like in a way that, you know, other people are admiring you, which is really great. So the way that you are impacting the people around you is that you are inspiring them by being who you are and being the embodiment of something, right? Maybe you're some type of role model, you're a leader, the embodiment of something, and this is inspiring people to become just like you. And this is honestly a similar message that has been coming up in more of my recent readings lately. So maybe you're one of the people who also watched that, or maybe not, right? You don't necessarily have to come from another reading, but it could be a confirmation for you guys that yes, this is really your reading. Yes, this is really who you are. So for your first oracle card, you have the golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, rare gifts. So since it mentions children here, it could be that you are involved with children in some type of way. You're teaching children, you're a role model to children. Maybe you are a parent and you're a role model and a parent to your own children, of course. And there is, I see multiple things with these cards. Like, first of all, I'm getting the message that you want to create a world or an environment for your children, your children's children, and so on and so forth. Or just for, if you're not interested in having children, just for the next generations, right? You want to create you want to make the world a better place for the generations that are going to inherit this earth from us, right? So you want to leave this place, you want to leave this place better than you found it, basically. Which is something, the first thing that I'm getting here. So leaving a legacy to, the people that will come after us to this earth, to make the earth a better place than you found it. And with the inner child and the tenderness that that it says on this card here, that's also the way that you inspire or you teach people. There is a crow in front of my window, which I just noticed, so that might be some type of message for you guys. I'm not getting anything specific. For me, when crows show up like that, it's really just a message from me to either listen to my intuition or to have faith in myself and that my spirit guides are watching over you. So maybe that's also like the message for you. Your spirit guides are watching over you. You might have and we all have an important purpose here on this earth, but there might be something important that you are doing here on this earth as your purpose that involves children or your inner child in some kind of way, and your spirit guides just want to, remind you of that as well. And what I was going to say about the inner child and the tenderness is that, again, this is the way that you inspire people. You've likely healed your inner child, or you're in the process of healing your inner child. There is some tenderness and innocence to you. Like, not that you're, right? I also feel that, like I said before, you're confident. I do get you're confident and you do have that assertiveness to you as well. But at the same time, you have that tenderness and that innocence. So I feel like you can relate very well to other people who are going through some hardships. Like, you have empathy for those people. You can empathize with those people, right? You can really imagine what they are going through. You might actually be an empath, and that is one of your great superpowers here in this world. This is something that I, like a couple of, let's say, weeks to months ago, I had this wonderful revelation to myself that I'm a big fan of superhero movies and things like that. And I then one day realized, we might not be living in the same world that Superman and Batman and, name them all, live in. But I believe that the superpowers of our world are love, compassion, forgiveness, courage, kindness, such things. And it's not about being able to fly or not. It's not about being very strong or having laser eyes or whatever. To me, it's about having those qualities as a human. And this is just something that I was reminded of as I was reading this card to you. Like, I feel like you also have those qualities. Like I said, your what did I say? Your tenderness, or like your kindness, your confidence. That's your superpower, and that is how you are inspiring other people as well. And it does not matter who you are or what you do, pile 2, because again, I'm not seeing anything in specific, but the most important thing here is that you are who you are and you are confident in it, and that is what is inspiring other people, and especially children or a younger generation. And there is, again, I get that you are an empath. You can relate to people, especially because of your inner child. You might have, you had to heal a lot of inner child wounds, and now that you've healed them, it becomes much easier to empathize with people and to show kindness and to show compassion. So again, that's the superpower that I'm seeing here for you. So your next oracle card is Lord Ganesh. With infinite abundance, obstacles are being removed, spiritual support and connections are increasing. And I'm reminded of the crow that I just saw with the spiritual support and connections. So you're definitely being watched over by your spirit guides, your angels, your spiritual team. Maybe you, how do you say it? Like, you work together with, or you worship with gods or goddesses from Hinduism, could be, or maybe from another religion, pantheon, mythology, whatever the words are, so you could be working with some gods or goddesses or entities in specific. So take that message if it resonates for you. But yes, you're definitely protected by your spiritual team. You're supported in what you are doing right now. I definitely see that you are paving a path for future generations to come. Obstacles are being removed. So also with the Muse of Materials and this card, if you had any worries about how you were going to finance your dreams, your project, or whatever you want to do in the future, know that it will be taken care of, right? If you want to start up a business, that's your dream. If you want to start up a certain career or live in a certain place, if that's your dream, all financial obstacles will be removed, and finances will be enough finances will be provided for you to achieve your dreams. So no worries are needed for that. Truly is what I'm getting here. Truly, no worries are needed, because there are no obstacles present. Because whatever you are doing, whatever you desire to do is part of your path, and you're supposed to live out this path, and that is why you're being supported in it. Also financially or materially, yes. That was the right way to say it. You have the Selkie and her skin, reclaiming your authenticity with number 25. And I think I mentioned authenticity before as well, and I honestly think that this is really why you have the impact you have on the world around you is because you're authentic. And something that I'm getting for you as well, which I actually resonate with as well, is that being authentic doesn't mean that you are 100% an amazing person. It doesn't mean that you're a saint, right? Being authentic, like, even the card says reclaiming your authenticity. Like, if you claim your authenticity, you claim all parts of you. So you claim the beautiful parts, your tenderness, your kindness, your confidence, your talents, but you also claim the parts of you that might need a little bit more work, that might be a part of your shadow side, or that might be related to some trauma that you experienced in the past. But it doesn't mean that you're authentic, that you have to be a saint, and that you cannot accept your shadow side of you, to put it general, or that you cannot talk about it, right? Being authentic is claiming and accepting every single part of you. And I am being reminded of a quote in a book. It's by Sarah J. Maas. I don't remember which book it was, but it was basically about two guys who were in love with the same girl, and one guy said to the other girl, like, that it's like a supernatural book. So it's from the Throne of Glass series, maybe you're familiar with it. And the girl is very beautiful, but she's also wild. She's an assassin, you know? So she has light and dark sides to her. And one guy says to the other guy, you cannot pick and choose which parts of her you want to love. And that quote always stuck with me, because that's such a good guideline to, you know, when you love someone, to kind of estimate or to kind of realize, do I really love someone, or am I picking and choosing which parts of them I love? And it's the same for you about yourself, and others, for, and also how others see you, right? You cannot pick which, you do not have to pick which sides you love and you do not love, right? You can love all of you. There is no side to you that's like less worthy and a side that's more worthy to you. So that's what authenticity in your case is also about. So if you feel, or you were thinking like, well, maybe I'm not authentic because I sometimes, you know, get angry easily, or I don't always really think about how other people are feeling, doesn't mean that you're a bad person, doesn't mean that you're not authentic. As long as you claim that as, hey, this is who I am, this is who I need to work on, right? There's nothing wrong with it, because again, we are not saints, we're not perfect, like, we're human. That's part of the human experience. And maybe some of you guys needed to hear that message, but another message what I'm getting is, if you do not resonate with that necessarily, that it's indeed that authenticity of yours, you being real, you showing the real and the raw parts of you, like the beautiful parts, but also the more raw parts of you, is really what inspires people, because you're showing your vulnerable side, you're showing your real side. And there really is, people can really pick up on that subconsciously, whether someone is being fake or someone is being authentic. It might not be like, if someone says a lie, right, that you can entirely pick on, oh, you are lying, right? Maybe it's not like that black and white, but if someone is sharing stuff about their life which is fake or not the whole truth, people will notice that. Just like how when you are being authentic, when you're putting yourself out there like that, or you're putting your work out there like that, people are going to notice that. They're going to feel that. Their subconscious is going to notice that. So right? This is like an amazing message for you, to like not doubt who you are. Do not doubt your authenticity, right? If you are authentic, people are going to recognize that, and you don't have to worry about convincing people. Your last card is the masculine. So that's interesting. With the masculine, like, we also already have the King of Wands, which I feel like it's also that masculine energy. So that that reminds me again of the message that I shared about you being a leader to people and a provider, even indeed, with the Muse of Materials / King of Wands. I did not mention that yet, but yes, indeed, a provider. This is really about your masculine side, right? And this is, again, when it comes to how you impact the people around you, is that you are a provider to them. They can rely on you. You support those people, right? And they can count on you for your realness and for your truth. Maybe you're someone who always tells the truth, right? Who does not beat around the bush or who does not sugarcoat it. And people look up to you for that, for your authenticity and for your realness. With more masculine, you know, the masculine card and a more masculine side of you is what I'm getting, is that this is, again, you know, people looking up to you as you being a leader, you being confident, assertive, skilled, and talented. So you indeed might be involved in some job, some business that you are very successful at, and people really admire that for you. People really admire that about you. Sorry, I was already thinking about the next thing that I was gonna say, so I got confused with my words. Or you could be doing something that has not been done before, right? I did mention that already, that you are paving the way for future generations. Maybe you invented something, you started doing something in a different way that nobody's done before, so you're really a pioneer in that way, and people are looking up to you in that way. So there is this masculine energy about you that people also really admire, right? We were talking about tenderness and innocence and such, and being authentic, which is very feminine energy, divine feminine energy. And here with being the provider, being the leader, being confident and assertive, and being a good boss, maybe even, and even, you know, being a provider to your family, right? Is also what I'm seeing here. So there are a lot of ways in which people look up to you, and that's basically how, you know, that's basically the impact you have on people and on the world. It's just who you are, like your authenticity, like that is how you impact people. So that is what I'm seeing for you guys. Pile number 2, thank you so much for watching and letting me do this reading for you. I enjoyed giving you this reading, so I hope you did as well. In case it resonated for you and you liked it, feel free to leave a like, to comment, and subscribe, and maybe we will see each other in the next reading. Bye guys! Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your reading. Let's get started and have a look what impact you have on the world or the people around you. So you chose the Queen of Wands card, and I absolutely love the Queen of Wands, and also especially in this deck. So really great that you chose this one. So let's have a look at your the rest of your tarot cards first. So let's see, from the same deck as your Queen of Wands, you also have the Ace of Pentacles. Oh wait, this is an Oracle card. I felt like something was wrong. You have the Seven of Wands. You also have the Three of Pentacles. The Two of Wands. And you have the Emperor. So let's see. For pile 3, I feel, pile 3, that you are a very creative person, and you are someone who has a lot of ideas, and a lot of, not just any kind of ideas, but a lot of great ideas, really amazing ideas that you can really get to work with. You can really create something out of it. That's what I'm seeing with the Three of Pentacles, that you're really creating something. like really something physical, right? So I'm seeing someone working with their hands, maybe sculpting or working with wood, maybe you're some type of construction worker or something like that, or maybe you are using clay. Like, I'm really seeing something creative done with the hands, so take it however it resonates. But there's definitely something about the ideas that you have. They are great, they are amazing. I mean, you have the Queen of Wands, which is, talks about creativity amongst other things. You have the Two of Inspiration, where we literally have a telescope right there in the card. So both of those things are to me like, you have a vision. You have a vision. You might be a very visual person as well. It could be for some of you guys, but you have a vision. And again, I'm not getting a lot of specific things, but whatever your vision is, or maybe it's just, your personality, right? Whenever you have an idea, whenever you have a vision, you can really get to work with it. You can really make something out of it. That sometimes we have an idea that we really want to do something, but we don't know how to make it work, or we try to do it. We have this image in our head, okay, I want it to look like this and go like this, and then it looks nothing like we intended it to look like or to go. And you are not that person, right? You are the opposite. I really see that you can bring your ideas to life. You really know how to create whatever you're trying to create. And with the Seven of Wands, I'm seeing that maybe you have to, or maybe you used to fight of people to really get to pursue your dream. Like, maybe you had some kind of idea and you really, you needed maybe support from other people, but other people didn't support the idea, and then you were like, well, I'm going to do it anyway, even if you do not agree with me. So there's really this fighting spirit coming from you with really great ideas. And I'm definitely getting that there is some connection to the divine when it comes to your ideas. Like, they come from a divine place and they come to you for a very divine reason. For some of you guys, it might be that reason might be to make money, because we have the Ace of Pentacles, to invent something, like when you need to invent something that's really going to help humanity, or that you're going to create some kind of blueprint, business plan, whatever, that's really going to help other people or a company to really create a product that will really help people. So I feel like when it comes to what impact you have on the world and the people around you, is that it's mainly about your creativity. It's about your ideas. It's about your visions. Because, sometimes, I mean, I can only speak for myself, probably, but sometimes I also have brain farts, and you don't know what to do. You don't have any ideas, or you think you have an idea, but then when you write it down on paper or you talk to it to someone, you're like, well, it sounded better in my head than it's sounding right now. And I'm getting that you're not really having those brain farts. Like, whatever idea comes up in you is like almost perfect, maybe, or it's like it's supposed to be there, right? I was saying there was some connection to the divine and to like divine inspiration even. So let's just have a look at your oracle cards to see if there's anything more about this. You have perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. And perspective is also a term that's used in art, right? In in painting and in drawing as well. So maybe that's something that you're doing. That's just what I was reminded of. None of this matters. Zoom out, common ground. Yes. So the reason why you are so successful at starting with an idea and then finishing up with a product is because you can zoom out, because you can look at things from a higher perspective. You see the bigger picture. So if you have an idea to create something, let's say you want to draw something, like let's take something very simple, and you want to draw, let's say, a portrait of someone. But then you first, of course, you need a reference picture of that person. You need to know how you draw a portrait, how you draw a human face. You need to know what colors you're gonna use and what kind of background color you're gonna use. You need to know what kind of tools you're gonna use. Are you gonna do like canvas and paint? Are you going to do just paper and maybe watercolor, or just colored pencils? Are you gonna do digital art? Right, there are so many things to think about before you end up at the finished product. And sometimes thinking about everything that you need to do can get very overwhelming for people. They like get lost and everything they need to do, but you are able to zoom out. You're like, okay, I need to get the tools, I need to get the skills, and this is where I get the tools, this is how I can learn the skills, right? And this is the portrait that I'm gonna make, or this is the reference that I'm gonna use. And you were able to zoom out on that, and to, even when something goes wrong, when you make a mistake or something just does not work out the way that you want to, like just because, accident or whatever, you do not panic and you're like, okay, let's just take a breather, let's calm down, assess the situation, let's see what's going on and how we can fix this. And this is also like a very good mindset or attitude to have, in the workplace. Whenever something goes wrong, like, you're able to handle stress very well, which is really great. And I just think that this is in general a very good quality to have as a person. It's not necessarily related to, what impact you have on the world or on people. Your next card is Hilarion with Divine Healing. Honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. Yes, and I just saw 1111 on the timer, by the way. So this is an important message. What I was gonna say is that I was like, yeah, but how is this telling anything about how pile 2 impacts the world or the people around them? And I was just feeling like, let's just have a look at the other cards. And this is saying exactly it. Whatever you are creating, whether it's art or something else, that's healing people. It's helping people. Through you sharing your art, sharing your experience, sharing your words, sharing experience on how to deal with stress, for example, such things, that is you sharing your light. You see how in the background you see all these runes, or it's some type of light code. So there is this energy to the work that you put out there that then in turn influences the energy of other people, and it's like a healing energy. So let's go back to the example of the portrait. You make a beautiful portrait and you do it in your own style, just like Vincent van Gogh is how you say it in Dutch, but Vincent van Gogh is probably the name that you are more familiar with. But the Dutch painter, he made so many beautiful paintings. And since we're talking about a portrait, let's talk about his self-portrait. It's still talked about to this day, right? And it's because, like, I don't know why it is, because I'm not an art expert of any kind, but people still resonate with Vincent and with his work because there is like this energy to it, right? You can relate to it, you think it's beautiful, you think his story is interesting or inspiring or relatable. And just like with the portrait that I'm using in the example here, if you make a beautiful portrait in your own style with your own story attached to it, it's going to touch people's hearts, just like the portrait of Vincent van Gogh. Van Gogh. Sorry. I just think that the English pronunciation is very funny, but it's not relevant to this reading. So, but yeah, your work, people can relate to it. People are healed by it. People can find some sense of comfort in it. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be crazy. Like, there are so many artists in this day who are putting out amazing artwork out there, and everyone can relate to at least some things, right? Whether it's music or paintings or books or whatever, sculptures, you know, any type of art. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be related to art, but it's just the example that I'm using here because it's easier, because, you know, it's easier for me to talk about it. And through you making art and sharing your art, you're sharing your light. But just like this card says, and I feel like that's just kind of a side note for you guys, honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. So at times you can get ideas to create something and you put a lot of energy into it, a lot of time, and you create something beautiful. You create a masterpiece and then you release it to the world, and again, people are healed by it. But since you put so much energy and time in there, like, you cannot keep doing that over and over and over again because you're going to get exhausted. So after you've created your masterpiece, make sure to take time off and to recharge your energy, because you're sharing your light with other people. You're sharing your view, your perspective on the world with other people. So it's important, since you know your energy is interacting with your light is interacting with the energy of other people, to also really take care of your own energy, right? Not to get it mixed up, not to get too taken away by the opinions of other people, for example. So that's just kind of a side note here that I'm getting for you guys. I'm not really getting that there's really something going on with you, right, in that way. That's really, but it's just like a reminder. Remind yourself to recharge yourself, sorry, as well, after you've let out so much energy to create something so beautiful and so impactful. Your next card is Transparency. Honest, authentic, genuine, present, with number 2. And you also had the 2 of Wands, so maybe you've been seeing repeating 2s, or you will start seeing repeating 2s after this reading. And it's funny that this card says authentic, because in pile 2 we also had a card from the same deck that was talking about authenticity. So yes, and I said that in pile 2 as well. I'm going to say it here as well. I think that, you know, the superpowers of our time are things like authenticity, love, compassion, bravery, kindness, courage. I don't know if I mentioned that already. Like, just like the card says, it says honest, authentic, genuine. I think those are the superpowers of our time. This is how you can impact the world to make the world a better place. You know how in superhero movies we see Superman saving the world or Spider-Man saving the world, and in our world those people do not exist, those powers do not exist. But the powers that we do have to help people is kindness, is honesty, is love, is courage and bravery, to speak up about the things that you believe in, right? To help other people. And you are, so first of all, you are touching the hearts of people by the art that you make or whatever you make using your creativity. And the more honest and authentic and transparent you are in your art or in your project, the more people it's going to touch. I personally would like to kind of give my own example to make it a little bit easier for you to understand it, maybe. I myself, I write music. I've been writing music for a very, very long time already. Like, I started in my teens already. And when I write music, with the idea, oh, somebody's going to hear it and somebody might think something about this, somebody might not agree, somebody might be offended, I will not be authentic, right? Because in music, I especially really love writing lyrics. I love writing out, what I'm feeling. So when I feel kind of inhibited to fully write out what I feel because I'm scared of what other people are going to think, I am not authentic in my song. And my song is not going to hit that hard as it would if I would be authentic. And it would not be as great. I mean, in my own eyes, it would not be as great as if I would be fully authentic. So my goal is with my art, with my music, to be as authentic as possible. And even if I write something that might be controversial, I do not care, because it's me being authentic and it feels good to write this down. And being authentic and being controversial does not have to be a bad thing, right? Because, well, what in this day and age is not controversial? But I think authenticity is really what people recognize, And did I say that in this reading already? I am not sure. I am not sure. I'm sorry, sometimes I can't remember if I channeled it in one other pile, this pile. But again, the message that I'm also hearing for you is that people recognize authenticity. People recognize when something is authentic because they will connect to it. They will relate to it. If someone is being vulnerable, people connect to that and relate to it. So the message for you is here in your art or in your work, even if it is controversial, even if you're scared that people are gonna say some things about it, just do it anyway, because your authenticity is the superpower here. Your authenticity is what's going to make your work great. And I can say that for myself, right? That's why I was giving my example. If I write a song in which I'm not authentic, it's not going to be as good as a song that I write that's very authentic, because I really pour my all and my energy into all of it. And then it becomes the greatest song ever, right? So it's the same for you guys. Use your honesty and your authenticity in your work and in your art, and be transparent about it. And of course, you don't have to talk about every single thing. If there are some secrets you want to keep, of course, like, I'm not saying that you should lay all your cards out on the table, but don't hold back on anything in your art or in your work just because some people are maybe not going to like it, or people are not going to agree with it. Like, this is what I personally think, right? It doesn't matter what people think. And I recently also made a post here on YouTube. Maybe you've read it, maybe you haven't, but I also I'm very self-conscious in a way that whenever I put myself out there on the internet, especially in these readings, I tend to get I feel very much pressure to be likable and to say the right things, not to offend anyone. So I recently went through a phase like that as well. And I just remind myself each and every time, if I'm authentic, if I'm putting it out there with my highest intentions, then that's all that I can do. That's, all the responsibility that I can take. There are always going to be people hating, because we all have different opinions. There are always going to be people who are disagreeing. I also disagree with a lot of other people. I disagree, or I don't like a lot of other stuff, right? I don't watch every single reading I come across on YouTube. I don't listen to every single song that's recommended to me on Spotify or whatever. It's okay to not like what others are doing, and it's okay for others to not like what you are doing. We all have our own truth, we all have our own opinion. But what I again want to stress to you guys is, if you put it out there with that, and it comes from a place of authenticity, and it comes from a place with your highest intentions, from your highest good, then that's all you need to do. That's all that's needed, right? I hope this rant wasn't too long. I hope you didn't feel like I was talking so much about myself, because I just wanted to, give a bit more of my personal perspective on this as well. Just to I am channeling this stuff first of all, but sometimes something comes up and I feel like I want to share about myself as well. And it's just to let you know that I am not, bullshitting you guys. Like I most of the time I know what I am talking about. So authenticity, transparency is important for you in your work. And if you are like, yes, I already do this, then you're encouraged to continue to do so, because this is how you are going to find your success and your fortune. But again, remember to also retreat and recharge yourself, indeed, and to heal yourself just like you are healing others. So for your last card, you have the Unknown. That is very beautiful to end this reading with. So it's like there's so much more to come for you guys. And I am again being reminded of Vincent van Gogh, who again is still talked about to this day. And I think when Vincent was still walking this earth and he was still painting, he did not expect for his work to become as big as it is now and to still be talked about to this day and age. And it's the same for you. Like you will probably not expect, you will not know how big of an impact your art and your work will have on the world, right? That's what we're talking about in this reading. The impact that you and your art and your work have on the world and people, it's still unknown. Like you might just be in the beginner phase of what you're doing right now and still maybe trying to figuring out your footing, figuring out what you feel safe in or not, or what it is that you really want to put out in your work. But so much more bigger things are to come in your future. Like so many big blessings are still going to come to you when it comes to this art or this work that you're doing. And yeah, it might be unknown, but that it doesn't mean that it's going to be bad, like maybe if your art is still going to be talked about in 100 years from now, right? Like you will not know that, but it will still be like if that could be your legacy to the world, if that's the impact that you have on the world, that's amazing, right? So whatever it is, whatever work or art that you're doing, pile 3, you are encouraged to continue to do so because it heals people. You share your light through sharing your work. So I am like very happy to see this story of yours in this reading. I'm happy that you do seem to be like a person who really loves their creativity and loves their authenticity. So I also just want to say that I am proud of you guys, and hopefully you will continue to share your creativity and your light with other people. I wish you all the best, pile 3. So this is the end of your reading. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for letting me do this reading for you and tapping into your energy. It was really wonderful to see this reading for you unfold. I hope this resonated for you and you liked it. In case you did, feel free to leave a like, to comment, and to subscribe, and maybe we will see each other in the next reading. Bye guys!